House. Alma, what are the questions that you have about both how this started and what continues to influence this trade? It seems to me now, everybody who wants to make money off of momentum is probably in it, hedge funds on both sides. It's not as if it's Reddit's doing every time this thing moves.
No, I think that's a very good point. And while Reddit may have started the first surge, this surge actually seems to be related to some news. Yesterday, the CFO of GameStop was pushed out to find an executive more in line with what the activist board member and investor Ryan Cohen has as a vision for the company, coming out of a brick and mortar area into a more online presence. And so that seems to have gotten some people very excited about the future of GameStop.
What do you think it signifies that we are where we are in the market, having a mostly uninterrupted bull run for more than a decade? Valuations are high by historical standards, and we've got retail investors day trading again, which for a long time they didn't seem to want to do, but it's always when the market is kind of toppy that this happens, right?
Well, it does. And anytime the market's already hot, it's usually not a good time to buy because things are already high. But that's when people get interested, certainly. And the last time that we saw this with all the day traders, there were some regulations put in place afterwards to limit the amount that day traders could buy on margin, the amount of stock they could buy on margin, to strike that balance between letting investors invest and sometimes speculate and often lose, and yet protecting them from something that might be really destructive, not only to them personally, but to the financial institutions they're trading with.
Hi, Alma. It's Deirdre. Good morning. You mentioned that you think that there may be some reason behind the recent action that we've seen. You pointed to the resignation of the CFO, but others would say that that's not the reason, that perhaps it was Ryan Cohen's ice cream tweet with a frog emoji. So I just wonder, I mean, is it clear? Is it worrying that perhaps we don't know what's leading to the action? Does the SEC need to at least perhaps say something, a statement saying that they're watching this? Are you surprised by the fact that we haven't heard from them?
So again, it's important to remember that the securities regime is a disclosure regime, and people can make speculative bets on stocks, and people can lose a lot of money. And maybe in the minds of certain people, that ice cream tweet was related to the CFO resignation tweet, and they think the company is going to be fixed and brought into the digital world quite successfully. It's hard to say, but I think they'll be studying it. I think both Congress and the SEC will be studying, again, that balance between orderly markets and letting people invest what they want to invest for whatever reasons they want to invest, even if it doesn't make sense to us.
Yeah, that makes sense on the SEC side, which I think a lot of the Reddit crowd would agree with. Let retail traders do their thing. But on the GameStop side, are you surprised that we haven't heard anything from them? Even a simple statement saying that they're watching the situation. There's nothing more going on besides the CFO resignation.
So it's very difficult for a public company to comment without further being misinterpreted and maybe being accused of false and misleading information or information that is not complete. It's very hard for them to say, look, people, there's no reason for our stock to be this high. That's a hard thing for a company to say if they don't have facts to disclose. Then it's very difficult for them to say anything. Very difficult.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.